People who let their mom count to 0. What happened after? She's currently on 1/1125899906842 I'll let you know if she ever gets there. Everything goes black, and the last thing I see is my mother's slipper speeding toward me. It's funny how they can make getting hit by fuzzy pink slipper feel like getting hit by a Mack truck. Why is that? I've been hit with rocks, fists, baseball bats, and a car, but they didn't hurt half as much as that fucking spatula. Because the spatula loves you, and you disappointed them, it makes it hurt worse. Alright, I'm coming in late here, but this reminded me of the time I went the distance with my mom. My whole life we've rarely argued, and during my entire upbringing we only had a few actual fights, all of which were 100% my fault. The point I'm making is that my mom is a really sweet, genuine person who did an amazing job raising 2 boys on her own. When I was 12 I had a bad day and got home in a mood. I wasn't quite looking for a fight per se, but I was being a crabby snappy negative jerk. Mom put up with it for a while and then had enough. I can't recall the catalyst, but she wanted me to do something and I refused. So the count came. 3, 2, and I interjected, 1 bitch. There was a stunned silence for a moment, and then she looked at me with rage in her eyes. I'm sorry, I pleaded, but I had crossed a line and punishment was coming. She moved so fast, like a blur, and I was frozen. I was taller than her, but she scooped me up, thrust me in a chair, and told me to wait there. Her voice had both ice and heat. How is that possible? She came back with a bar of ivory soap which she jammed into my mouth. It was gross, with high notes of bitter soap taste, but also a strange sickly sweetness that made me want to gag. And that's how I know that Dr. Pepper tastes like Robitussin with ivory soap, a splash of prune juice and carbonated water. I think I got grounded as well, but the fear she instilled really did the trick. Not my mother, because she rarely disciplined me and my siblings, but my grandma. Oh no. When I went to 0, I got her classic little old Asian lady move. A sock filled with pennies thrown at me at speeds I never thought possible. Shit hurted. Every time your kids swear out a penny in your sock and soon you'll have a weapon to be. I stupidly said, wow, I didn't know you could count, and she beat the soul out of me. I saw everything that had ever happened in any place ever all at the same time. I saw every great extinction event in reverse and the thunderous slaps had fucking reverb. She beat me like a sexually frustrated teen beats their meat. She hit me so hard I saw new colors. Her grip was like a jaguar's jaws on a gazelle's neck. There was no escape. Why can I relate? Indian parents man. Welsh parents man. Short story time. Raised in an Asian household, near Tiger Mom, all that stuff. Can't even remember what it is exactly I did to set her off, but she turns on her usual rage face and starts staring me down. Next thing I know she tells me to go to her room and grab her leather belt, and that I have 5 seconds to get it, or else shit is gonna happen. For the first time in my life, I decided to take a stand. First I told her I didn't want to because I'll just get hurt, but the countdown continued, and by the time she reached 1, I laid down a flat and calm no. She tried to hide it, but I can tell she was absolutely stunned. You know that saying I wasn't thinking that far ahead? If you were to translate that into a facial expression then you'll get a face at that moment. After about another 5 seconds of silence she just told me to go to my room. I learned 2 things that day. It might not always pay off, but it's always better to try and stand up for yourself. Lock your doors, because the fight ain't ever over. She threw a flashbang into my room then proceed to whip me with her belt. Did I mention she was military? Wait, she legit threw a flashbang? Holy fuck dude, that mom doesn't mess. That last part about the flashbang. If she did that to me, it would have started World War III. My mom once was smacking me with a wooden spoon. She smashed me over the ass so hard it snapped, and the head went flying off, so I turned around. laughed at her, and asked, "Is that all you got?" With a shit-eating grin, she then went and got a biggest metal spoon. The rest is history. That happened to me, except she got a flexible plastic wiffle spoon. That shit hurt worse than the wooden spoon. You are going to meet your ancestors. Belt comes out. I grew up when taking the belt to their backside was considered acceptable as a method of disciplining unruly children. My mother is a tiny little woman who had a strong hand in raising us. Dad, for the most part, was always busy with work or with general house repairs, so he left correcting to mom. One day when I was a teen, I did something stupid, and as was tradition, my mother slapped me upside the head. This time, it didn't hurt. Seeing that the desired effect did not occur, she hauled off, tried again. It still didn't hurt. She then switched tactics and started counting down from 5, demanding an apology for my stupidity. Just as a point of clarity, I was in the wrong and deserved some form of punishment. I decided to call her bluff and let her hit 0, just to see what the or else could possibly be. After all, I'd taken her best shot to no effect, so in my teenage brain, I was effectively above the law. So, when she hit 0, and I didn't apologize, she said the words that chilled my very soul: "Wait till your father gets home." It was then that I discovered that they were one step ahead of me and were ready for my eventual rebellion. I can still remember it like it was yesterday. My father walked in the door with a smile on his face, and my mother immediately went to him and said, "Do you know what your son did today?" She told him in clear detail, without exaggeration, the events of the day. He took this in with a calm, cool look on his face and asked me if what she said was true. I never lied to the man ever, and I saw no reason to start then, so I confirmed her version of events. He asked me then if I understood what I had done was wrong, and if I felt any remorse for my actions. I told him I understood, but I felt no remorse as my mother's physical punishment no longer had any sway over my actions. Without any anger, and without any further ado, he hauled off and hit me once with the back of his hand, which sent me flying into the closet. He calmly walked over and asked me if I understood what had happened and if I had learned anything. It was the only time he had ever had to hit me, and from that point on I made sure I stopped doing stupid shit. By God, it's the Undertaker. I remember when my little brother waited to 0. Stepmom said, "Fine, pick a spoon." And he did. He picked a spoon with holes in it because he thought he was being clever, thinking that less spoon meant less pain. 2 times I let it get to 0 when I was a kid. The first, she broke a finger on the corner of the fridge. Ellie dodging skills, or so I thought. The second, a few weeks later, I ran. She caught up when I started laughing, and a wooden spoon was broken around my ass. I deserved every bit of it. Lesson learned. I'm from Latin America, and here, the count goes from 1 to 3. The 3 is the equivalent to 0. I was like 13 or something, and my mom was telling me to do a chore. I don't remember which one. I was hesitant enough to not do it, and I was really mad at that moment that I let her count to 3, like yelling her, "Do it." I thought anything would come out of it. When she counted to 3, she said, "That's it," and went to my room. She hid all of my Barbies I kept and never found them when I was that age. I found them last week while cleaning my room in another house. I'm 21. An iron just got its cord unplugged, and I started to believe in God. Wooden spoon impact. Edit. I see a lot of people asking if I'm Italian, Irish, or even Polish. No, American, but the art of the wooden spoon was taught through many generations in our family. I'm just thankful I never got the belt. In my story, my mom pulled out a wooden spoon and hit the table with it to be very menacing. Unfortunately for her, she hit the table hard enough that the spoon snapped and the round part went flying off. My sister and I, 2 years apart, burst out laughing, and my mom couldn't help but laugh too. I don't honestly remember her using/threatening a wooden spoon after that. She started counting to negative numbers. I think mine did fractions. 1/2. 1/4. So she never reached 0. Rumor has it, she's still counting to this day. Oh lord, she comment. I'm just piggybacking off this comment because it was literally an oh lord moment. My mum is quite deaf. About 85% of her hearing is gone. Well, around the time it first started to fade, she was in a foul mood. She screamed at me to tell my cousin to come downstairs and come and eat. As I turned and said okay, and she could not read my lips, I just heard her scream from behind me. I said go and get your cousin, as she opened the freezer door, pulled out a frozen loaf of bread, and launched it directly at my head. I woke up about 90 seconds later with her sobbing on top of me, and with a pounding headache, and she never hit me again. We also got McDonald's after. How old were you when you got knocked the fuck out with a frozen loaf of bread? When a bitch is frozen, you can imagine it as a rock. Source: got a concussion from frozen meat. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. See you on the next video.